I've seen some gnarly stuff. We had a pastry girl, pilot light went out. She decided and we were prepping for a party, so she tried to light it really quick again. A fireball shot out. She burned both her retinas. Like she actually burned her eyeballs. And she was out for the entire semester. She burned her eyeballs, dude.
This is Chef Kelvin Cheung. This is the kind of food he makes. If you want to experience heaven, you have to try his crab with Singapore chili. This is Bastian, his restaurant. It's a really cool place. This is what he told me when I asked him what he thought of foodies.
This is probably one of the worst words ever created. Like, worst, absolutely terrible. What is a foodie? How's that even a term? And why would you even want to be called foodie?
Today, Kelvin's going to be taking me for breakfast, lunch and dinner in 3 of his favorite restaurants all over the city. By the way, my name is Sumedh. I think it's really hard for me to find words to describe how much food means to me, but I think Ratatouille does the job way better.
I don't like food, I love it.
I appreciate the simplicity of a dosa, but also the complexity of the flavor. The whole idea of fermenting the rice overnight so that it's easy to digest and using that as a batter, it's genius. Like when people think of Indian food, this is what they should be saying. This would be a proper representation of it. You can feel it. Every bite, you can feel the amount of ghee just pouring in your mouth.
Did you order 2? Yeah. If you don't bullshit your way out, they are all going to treat you the same menu.
Yeah, it's absolutely no bullshit. And you can share a table with someone, you can sit with people. No one cares. Like no one's looking at you. You just here, you put your head down, you pound some food.
Do you feel like with a lot of Indian food, we lose out on the flavor of the ingredients because of the amount of masala we put in?
Only if it's badly done. If it's done properly, it helps and it actually shows off what the actual ingredient is.
You've really disappointed him.
I know, man. I haven't made that though. It's always been like that. And even we know. Like it's always been like that. It's sad because I remember the first time we came, we're like, oh no! And then now we know.
How many people do you turn down every day?
I can't see.
Come on, give me an estimate.
I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't give me an estimate.
I used to get my ass whooped in the kitchen when I first started learning. Now, I mean, you can't touch anyone now. Like, there's nothing, you can never do that anymore.
But you're hard on your stuff.
I mean, I guess. Depends what you consider hard. I mean, how hard is
Hard is really hard.
Yeah. My dad is probably the hardest person in the world to cook for. He wants to literally judge me from the moment I'm prepping the food to the moment I'm cooking the food and how I serve the food. So in his mind, he thinks that if I use a bunch of spices and herbs and a bunch of stuff, that it's covering up any flaws that I've done. Even if I'm making him like a fried rice, he'll watch the grains, he'll check the grains to make sure that I haven't mashed them, to make sure that it's all evenly coated, evenly seasoned. Like, he will judge me till the day I die.
Did you find this place the first time you came over here?
No, and we drove around for over an hour just trying to find this place. It's a little easier in the daytime, but at night, there's no way you can find this. Every lane looks exactly the same. Every building looks exactly the same. And everywhere you go, there's just hordes and hordes of people, right?
Oh, by the way, don't even think about getting your car here. I highly doubt you'll get parking.
This was our first alley.
Oh wow, that's an explosion.
Yeah, we had like no clue. People told us that be ready, but you're never really ready for like a proper thali, right?
The first time I came over here, they refused to let me leave the table. They were like, no, eat this.
And especially if they know that you're a foreigner or you're someone here who's visiting and stuff, they want you to try more stuff. They want you to have a full meal, right? So the guy kept bringing us all this random stuff that they normally didn't even serve. Like he just kept coming back, like, oh, by the way, we have this too. You want to try it? And he just like kept dumping and kept dumping. So it was amazing. When you see this being assembled slowly to what it becomes, you know, that evolution of where it starts from. Yeah, it's amazing. Do you ever get like perturbed by the amount of sweetness in the food? You always hear about that. That's the one thing when you're talking to people from different regions and stuff, they always describe how sweet it is. I think what happens is they have a lot of bad Gujarati food, but I think that's why I like this, because with this, it's literally every color, it's every texture, and it's just very well balanced. Cheers. So good, man. I just love the jaggery. Oh, shouldn't talk when I have my phone. Are you still not comfortable eating with your hands? Depends, certain things. I just know that The reason why I use a spoon and my hand is that I want to taste distinct flavors. So I'm always worried that if I have leftover sauce and stuff on my
I thought
hand,
that's like the one thing I could take his case on, but he has given me a scientific reason why he eats with both.
the food scene in India right now, it's crazy. It's amazing how far it's come in the last couple of years only. And all it is just people have access to social media. They have access to this knowledge. They have access to these videos, to these shows, to these blogs. People want to try new things. Whether it be Bastion or One Street, the moment someone says they want food and they appreciate good food, then automatically I'm gonna just tell them, you gotta come try this then. And I actually enjoy cooking veg food. I appreciate the amount of work and skill it takes to elevate a simple carrot or a simple tomato.
If you had to go for dinner, where would you go?
I mean, Bombay Canteen has always been one of our favorites. From the time we heard about them forming the concept, from the time they actually opened, to the progression of Zach just like fully running and operating the menus and stuff, it's always been one of our favorites.
I'm telling you, when we come here, we come on a mission. We tell Zach, we're coming, there's 3 of us, and we're hungry.
Full disclosure, I worked at Bombay Canteen for a month as a kitchen intern last year. And it feels so cool to come back and shoot at a place that's taught me so much about food.
This is why I appreciate their food, right? This dish is a good representation. It's something so simple, utilizing local ingredients, but it's got everything. It's got texture, it's got temperature, it's got acid, salt, spice.
The base, the soul curry, that's as Maharashtrian as it can get. We don't eat raw fish.
Yeah.
But actually tell people of the region as well that this is what is possible out of it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's taking ingredients that are super local, flavor profiles that are super local, but in a preparation that is not something that people are used to having. I think like this is a very well thought out plate because virtually everyone will like this. I can't imagine many people not liking this.
Yeah.
When we had those late nights at the old place, we'd be completely smashed and we'd head out to BT Station. And there was a guy that did egg burji and this. And that was the one thing that we would get. And it was funny because you'd go and it'd be this line of like Mercedes-Benz and BMWs and all these fancy ass cars, and this is what you go and get.
This is my favorite dish from this place.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You get the hit of fat, delicious eggy yolk, and it's just cut with this like kind of acidic, not too spicy, but it still holds the essence and the soul of what Indian food is. My wife, her favorite dish is keema. She'll pound like piles of the like mutton keema. We'll order it late at night, and she loves it. You can actually taste the ingredients. The problem with most keema that you get on the street, whether it be a stall or whether it be a small restaurant, small dive, is that A, maybe a lower quality meat. But if it's a good quality meat, if you're not overly masaling and spicing something, it's because you're not trying to cover up any flaws. So if you're using a good quality, then it needs to be like this. It has to be very clean tasting, so you can actually appreciate the flavors. The last time I came, I remember I was watching specifically, there was this lady who was, I believe, an accountant by profession, who gave it up to learn how to cook. And I remember so clearly, I was sitting at that table, and she was working the grill station, and she was in the shit, so Zach was fucking railing her. But every time she got an order, she would take a piece of like, I think it was the calamari dish, and I would see her season and then put it down on the grill, and the moment it was like laid on the grill properly, she would smile. And it was the coolest thing that I've seen in a long time. Because it's just the pure joy in what cooks get when they're doing something properly.